I'm Terry Bradshaw. My partner Greg Gumbel is up in Canada covering baseball. So, brought in a really good friend of mine, Jim Nantz. And Jimmy, good to be here. What's cooking, buddy?
Well, I know it's not ribs. In fact, I heard old Stainless tried a couple of your ribs last week, and he's been moving like that for about 7 days
pretty
now.
Good, doesn't it?
Right. Well, we have a triple-header coming your way today here on CBS. Great NFL action, followed by the American League and National League Championship Series. With half an hour to go before kickoff, here's who's warming up. In Indianapolis, Michael Irvin and the Cowboys make their first appearance ever under the Hoosier Dome to play the Colts. Irvin leads the league in reception yardage, and later we'll hear from the man who throws him the football, Troy Aikman. In RFK Stadium in Washington, Lewis Tillman must shoulder the running back load for his Giants as they face their arch rival Redskins. The Big Blue is down to 3 backs with Rodney Hampton and Jared Bunch out. In Philadelphia, Bubby Brister subbing for the injured Randall Cunningham. Quarterbacks the 4-0 Eagles against the Bears at Veterans Stadium, where Philly has won 11 straight. The Eagles are also without receiver Fred Barnett, and for more on the Eagles' chances, we go down on the field to Dan Phelps.
Jim, it's hard to imagine an NFL team that's faced as much adversity over the last 3 years as the Philadelphia Eagles have. But what makes this team so unique is their ability to almost embrace adversity as an ally. Today, Richie Kotite's team faces its latest challenge as Bubby Brister will replace Randall Cunningham as quarterback. Richie, what's the main message you want to convey to Bubby Brister today?
First of all, just do his part. He has a good supporting cast. Be decisive out there and don't force the football.
And you don't want him to be Superman, right?
He doesn't have to be Superman. You know, this type of offense, we have a lot of people that can carry the load. And I think they have a lot of respect for him because he's a tough guy and he's going to find a way to move the football.
They say a team reflects a coach's personality. How has this team been able to handle this adversity?
Well, we've been handling it now for a little over 2 years, and I think every time you react well to it, you get better at it. And they believe that, you know, somehow, some way, they're going to win.
You face a team today in the Bears that has played pretty good defense the last couple of weeks. Your concerns?
Well, the concern is that you have to be patient with them. You got to take little chunks at a time, and hopefully we'll be able to get a good blend of running and throwing the ball.
Good luck today, Coach.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Ben.
With a win today, the Eagles will go to 5-0, halfway to 10 wins, which usually qualifies you for the playoffs. It's 47 degrees here. Winds are gusting up to 25 miles an hour. That's the latest from Philadelphia, Jim.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan. And you talked this week with Bubby Brister. What does he like about this offense?
Here's what Bubby said about the offense. You can just picture this. And he said it's a pretty simple offense because the reads are simple. You drop back and you go 1 receiver, 2 receiver, 3 receiver, Jimmy. And that's just how he put it to me. He said, and it fits him well. If you follow progression, it takes you to the open guy. He likes it. It's a quick offense, and he feels very, very comfortable in it.
That's the old Lawrence Welk system.
One and a two.
And a 3. All right, coming up a little bit later, we'll talk with Eagles quarterback Randall Cunningham. The 1-3 Redskins are rushing Mark Rypien back into action. He's starting against the Giants today. Rypien went down 4 weeks ago against the Phoenix Cardinals and suffering a partially torn ligament in his right knee then. He was expected to be out 6 weeks. John Madden joins us live from RFK Stadium. John, is Rypien ready to go now?
Yeah, I think he's as ready as any quarterback with a torn ligament after a month. Now, I know that when he was first injured, they said it was going to be 6 weeks. Mark Rypien was hoping that he could have played last week, but he said realistically, this has been his goal to play this week all along. It has nothing to do with the record or anything. He said he wanted to try it this week. Wednesday, he practiced. It didn't swell up. Thursday, he practiced. He said he didn't practice well. He was rusty. He said, but he didn't have any swelling. He has a big knee brace on there, and he said that bothered him a little. You see this brace here that he's wearing on his right knee, which is also his plant foot. He said, but after practicing with the brace all week, he said he's getting used to that. He said there's only one thing that he still has to do, and you don't want to do too much of that. He still has to take a hit. Now, I think the Redskins are going to have a little more conservative offense today, and they're going to have a heck of a lot of maximum protection for him.
LT with that nagging hamstring injury, missed practice on Wednesday. What's his status today?
Well, he's ready to go. In fact, LT said, and Dan Reeves said that he's more ready to go this week than he was last week. They took him out of the second half of last week's game, but he didn't re-injure the hamstring. He didn't practice Wednesday, felt pretty good on Thursday, And, you know, we talk about ripping, not getting hit, not getting knocked down. And if he's not going to get knocked down, they sure as heck had better block LT today.
Boy, you bet. All right, thank you, John. Terry, as a former quarterback, what concerns you as far as a setup today for Mark Rippon?
Well, Jim, the thing is that Mark Rippon has a ligament damage to his right leg, so movement this way is certainly something that's got to concern you. But the Rod Dowhauer, the offensive coordinator of the Redskins, put in a quick offense. Now, folks, a quick offense means that you're going to get rid of the ball fast. Well, you don't do that dropping 10 yards deep. You do it by going 1, 2, 3. It's really quick with your feet, but you're always planning with the right leg, which is his injured leg. Quick passing will not favor a guy with a short knee, a bad knee today, or 5-step passing, where you have to set up and once again do it extremely quick. So I think today you'd have to look for Redskins to go a little deeper, not as much play action to avoid him from having to spin around, but go deeper, Jimmy, where you can float back and set up casual and take your time. Quick passing does not favor a guy with a bum knee.
Be careful. I thought you were going to back up right here off the
like
set.
I did in rehearsal.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit later on, we'll be hearing from Rippon's Giants counterpart, quarterback Phil Simms of the Giants. Meanwhile, Minnesota hosts Tampa Bay today in an NFC Central matchup. And the Vikings' Jim McMahon might need his drop-kicking ability because so far this season, he's having a tough time getting his offense in gear. Minnesota has managed but 4 offensive touchdowns in 4 games. Our Matt Millen spoke with Mad Mac just a short time ago.
Jim, the offense has been slow and you haven't really been scoring any points, so where are you with it right now?
Well, right now I'm very excited about the way the offense is, or the direction it's headed. You know, I think we're starting to utilize more of our talent. We've got a lot of guys on this offense that can make big plays, and you know, unfortunately, we just haven't gotten in the end zone much.
And how's your play going? You know, you're a little hard on yourself. I don't really understand why, but why?
Well, I haven't been very good the last few weeks. Fundamentally, I've been really poor. Not setting my feet. I've had some guys open for big plays, and I really haven't made the plays. And I think if I can just get back to my fundamentals, we'll start getting the ball in the end zone.
Have a great one today. Wish you the best.
Thanks.
All right, in other quarterback news, Joe Montana will miss another start for Kansas City, but he could see action as the Chiefs host the winless Bengals at Arrowhead Stadium this afternoon. Montana pulled up lame with a left hamstring injury against the Raiders last Sunday. And starting in Montana's place today, Dave Craig, who's led his team to only 13 points in his last 8 quarters of play. Are they starting to get a little bit concerned and frustrated down in Kansas City?
Yeah, Jimmy, the only question about Joe Montana going to Kansas City was whether or not he could avoid injuries. He has already been injured twice this year. Early in the season in this offense, he was frustrated. We don't know why. The guys are running the wrong routes, weren't getting open. You could see it in his eyes. And now with the injuries, offensive coordinator Paul Hackett has gone to Joe, said, you're not 28 years old. When you get pressure, hit the ground, learn how to slide all over again.
Say, in a way, he's probably thankful he's not with the 49ers. They had the game last week against the Vikings. The punishment Steve Young endured in that game, he could have knocked Montana out for the whole season. It was pretty bad, pretty rough. Turning now to baseball as the League Championship Series continue here on CBS. Mark Lemke drove in 3 runs as Atlanta pounded out its 2nd straight victory yesterday. In the process, the Braves set a National League playoff record with 23 runs in their last 2 games. Atlanta leads Philadelphia 2-1.
You know, ideally, I like to be up 3-0 and pitching 4-0, but this is a chance for us to put it away. You know, if we can get up 3-1 and have Avery have the ball on the 5th game, it's a great opportunity for us not to go to Philadelphia.
But over in the ALCS, they're lancing the myth of the home field advantage. Last night, Lance Johnson of the White Sox, who had not homered all season long, cleared the fence in Skydome. Now, after dropping the first 2 in Chicago, the Sox have tied the series 2-2.
We didn't have nothing to lose coming in here. We couldn't play no worse, so I'm glad we're back in there and we got a chance to pull this sweep out tomorrow.
And a reminder that following football this afternoon, CBS Sports will bring you Game 5 of the ALCS. Starting pitchers Blackjack McDowell for the White Sox against Juan Guzman for Toronto. Later tonight, Game 4 of the National League Series, and Danny Jackson will pitch for Philadelphia against John Smoltz for Atlanta. Up next, Troy Aikman playing in pain and talking plain about his playing future. That story and more when we continue live from New York on the NFL Today.
The NFL Today is sponsored by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of Lincoln luxury automobiles. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be. And by American Airlines, something special in the air.
The Lincoln Mark 8's revolutionary suspension automatically lowers the car at high speeds for better handling and less wind resistance, which raises the bar for everyone else. The Lincoln Mark 8. Drive everything else first.
Over the last few years, a lot of people have seen their investments drop in value. Unfortunately, that's life. Our annuities have held their value and consistently paid higher rates than CDs. That's New York Life. New York Life, the company you keep.
If you demand more from an aftershave than that same old alcohol burn, you gotta try a brand new aftershave. New sensitive from Old Spice. It's alcohol-free because alcohol burns. That's why they took it out and put these new cooling sensates in for real refreshment to go with that great scent. It's proof aftershave doesn't have to hurt to work. So use new sensitive, or you might get burned. Take the heat out of aftershave. Demand proof. Try new alcohol-free sensitive from Old Spice.
There are times you can feel your body heat rising. Fortunately, there's Degree Antiperspirant. It's body heat activated. Every time your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection.
Great, you made it.
Degree, your body heat turns it on.
Numbers I like to share.
There is a sound you can hear above the music. The sound of German being spoken by those whose passion is to live life. In your town, America, and the world, Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
Jack Trudeau starting at quarterback for the Colts today against the Cowboys. Jeff George had been named to make his first start of the season, and then head coach Ted Marchibroda found out, much to his surprise, that George had a bruised right hand. George could see action, however, today. Leslie Visser is live at the Hoosier Dome with a look at the Cowboys star quarterback. Leslie?
Hi, Jim. You're sort of our guy who came in from the cold. Well, down in Dallas, when people think of the big hurt, they're not talking about the White Sox Frank Thomas, but of the Cowboys' Troy Aikman. This guy is playing some serious bumps and bruises in addition to recovering from that preseason back surgery. And he says if it cuts his career short, so be it.
You know, I've got injuries like most players do. I got first-degree separation on my left shoulder. Torn some cartilage away from my ribs on the left side.
Don't forget your hands.
My hand's okay.
While many people give their bodies to medical science, Troy Aikman gives his to the Cowboys. And while most people think long-term, he's the opposite. Are you ever concerned that your style of play might shorten your career?
I fell under a lot of criticism early in my career when I had gotten injured because people were saying that the way that I played it brought on the injuries that I had. And I want to play this game as long as anybody. I'd love to play 10, 12, 15 years, but I'm not going to sacrifice good seasons or great seasons for mediocre seasons just because I'm concerned about being healthy.
Healthy might be the last word to describe Aikman, who'll endure today despite a painfully battered rib.
I have a little bit of discomfort when I throw the ball, when I cough or sneeze, but as far as breathing or moving around, running, it doesn't bother me at all.
Does it affect your singing?
It does. Yeah, I think I had a rib injury back when we did that song.
Driving down 66, this old pickup truck and me.
While no threat to Garth Brooks, Aikman has become, in his way, a good old megastar.
Do I think winning another Super Bowl is going to be easy? Get real.
Hard-working, likable, and oh my, a sex symbol, Aikman has made the most of his post-Super Bowl opportunities. He rubbed elbows with Hollywood, he scheduled photo sessions, proving that the complete quarterback can also be a well-dressed cover boy. Hounded by the media, Aikman can understand, in microcosm, someone like Michael Jordan's need for privacy.
You know, everybody wants to talk about the notoriety, the celebrity status, all the advantages and benefits that come from being a successful athlete, but they often lose sight of a lot of the things that are taken away, and sometimes those things that are taken away are some of the simpler things in life, but the most meaningful.
With 2 years left on his contract, Troy is involved in negotiations for his future with the Cowboys. Aikman would like it settled immediately. The Cowboys are thinking December.
I obviously would prefer to see some things being done on it now. I think December's a bad time of year for our football team, and me included. And because of the distractions that Emmitt Smith's contract caused within this football team, I don't want my situation to become a public issue. So I don't really know when it's going to get done, but the sooner the better for everybody.
Jerry Jones told me he is simply more comfortable waiting until December to deal with Aikman. The numbers he wants to wait for, he says he wants all the relevant information, and those will include the television's rights fees, which are being negotiated this month. A couple of game notes. Emmitt Smith's hamstring is more sore than he's been letting on. It affected him in practice all week. And Troy Aikman has decided against wearing a protective harness on his separated shoulder. He says it's too restrictive. A couple of tough guys, Jim.
Boy, I'll say, all right, Leslie, and check this out. You say look out for the Colts today, huh?
I talked to head coach Ted Marchibroda, and he said, we have a young football team, and sometimes they need to be scared to get their attention. They respect and they're afraid of the Cowboys, and he said, these are the types of teams that our young guys play extremely well against. Our front seven match up well. He thinks they've got a very good chance to win this game.
You like Aikman's arm. What about his recording voice?
Yeah, well, the driving in the old... I don't know about that.
Sounded like that, I think. When we come back, 2 more signal callers. Phil Simms and Randall Cunningham.
Driving in.
Hey, early again, huh, Frank?
I don't say this to many people. But what we do, the job we do,
Okay, guys, listen up.
is the most important job I can
Tony,
think of.
You've got a flight control check. Lewis and Randall.
I mean, there's no such thing as a B-plus mechanic on this airline.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Everybody knows their job. Everybody's responsible. Anybody, right down to the most junior mechanic, can keep an airplane in this hangar if there's the slightest hint of a problem. You might think, doing a job like this, day in, day out, it'd become routine. You know, just turning wrenches. But every now and then, I just go up and take a walk through the terminal. And right there, right in front of you, you see what's important.
To truly appreciate Lincoln Mark 8's premium sound system, just crank it up. Lincoln Mark 8, the luxury coupe with a 32-valve, 280 horsepower sound system. Drive everything else first.
Save right now. Buy 3 Goodyear tires at the regular price, get the 4th tire free. That's right. Buy any 3 of these Goodyear tires at the regular price and get the 4th free. 4 for 3 now. Hurry, savings end soon.
Perspiration's okay when you're playing tennis, but not when you're close.
If a guy smells, it's such a turn-off.
Get a little closer with Arid. New improved formula helps keep you extra, extra dry.
Yeah, I trust Arid.
The Eagles visit the Bears today, conjuring up images of one of the most bizarre playoff games ever.
When the fog rolled in, it was like the scene of a werewolf movie. It was eerie, quiet, disturbing, but it helped us out because it helped us win that game.
You know, there's always some talk if that fog wouldn't have rolled in, you know, no telling what we would have done, you know, but, you know, if and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Randall Cunningham remembers that game all too well. The Rocket Man is in Los Angeles today following surgery on the broken left leg he suffered against the Jets last Sunday. We spoke with Randall earlier today and we asked him, when will he be back?
They say 10 to 12 weeks. It's not going to take me that long. I think realistically, I'm looking at 8 to 10 weeks. I feel very good already. I got out of the hospital, haven't taken any pain medicine, so I know I feel much better than I did with the knee surgery.
Randall, what did the doctors do to your fibula?
Well, the bone was apart, separated. So what they did was they brought it back together, clamped it, and then they put a plate on the outside, and they drilled a screw through, to bring it back together, and they put 6 screws going up and down. So I can't, like you said, I can't go through the airport anymore. Be buzzing all the time.
Now, this is 2 out of 3 years now you've been injured. Are you frustrated by what's happened to you now?
I was frustrated when I got injured because, you know, I'm undefeated this year, and, you know, it's tough when you come out hot and then something happens like this.
You mentioned when you were being carried into the locker room, the word retirement popped up.
Yeah.
Was that serious? Was that serious?
Yeah, that was serious. It was, you know, if this would have been an injury that would have kept me out for the whole season, and I would have come back and I wouldn't have felt as good, I think I might have retired. But when Eric Allen intercepted the pass and brought it to me in the end zone, I'll miss my friends too much, so there's no more retiring stuff. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back this year.
Any message for the team?
Oh, yeah. We normally say a prayer in the locker room before the game, and we say one in the shower, the guys that want to come. And I'm going to say that prayer so you guys make sure you go out and get the job done.
RC is out in L.A. He says he'll watch the game today on satellite. A rejuvenated Phil Simms takes his 3-1 Giants into Redskin territory today. Simms is 13-6 lifetime against Washington, and Terry flushed him out of the pocket yesterday.
Tell me about your performance Sunday night against Buffalo.
Why?
What happened?
What happened? Oh, a lot of things happened.
What's the pass play? Looking for Hampton. Tipped. Intercepted at the 15.
I really wasn't on top of my game, and I know that, and you know, I'll try to rectify that this week.
Coach Reeves came out of the game saying we got to simplify the offense. Has he done that?
Yeah, we might be simplified just a little this week, but not a lot. You know, we're going to still keep all those plays in, because Terry, as a quarterback, I like that, because when I get in a situation, I know I have a chance to pick from about 3 or 4 plays instead of 1 or 2. So I like all the plays we put in.
With Hampton and Bunch out, how will your role change this week?
It's not going to change any for me. You know, people find it hard to believe, but, you know, with Lewis Tillman, he's going to be back there, and we're not changing anything. The offense is the same. We're going to call the same thing. We're going to call it just like if Rodney was back there. And Lewis is a fine runner, and he's a different type of runner than Rodney.
How do you feel? I mean, you feel...
I'll tell you what. You know, he goes up and down. Some days I think, oh, my God, I really do feel old. But most of the time I feel good, and right now I feel great. And physically throwing the ball, I'm throwing it where I want it to go. And I feel like I still have enough on it. If one thing, I wish I moved around a little more. I'm a little too patient sometimes in the pocket.
You never could move that well.
Well, it's not that I move great, but I can move good enough to get out of the way.
You're throwing it where you want to throw it. Why did you have 3 picks last week?
Well, I was a little unlucky.
You're being paid $2.5 million.
I was trying to get out of here. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's good to be overpaid, so what can I say?
Man, what a hard-nosed journalist you are.
Am I turning into a journalist or what?
Oh, boy, you're tough. Seriously, in basketball news, a big scare for Charles Barkley. Barkley collapsed while running wind sprints at the Phoenix Suns training camp last night and remained on the floor for 30 minutes, unable to move his legs. Barkley recovered and was able to walk off eventually. The incident may be related to a disc problem in Barkley's back. He's being examined thoroughly today.
It started just my back was and legs just got real tight, and then next thing I know, you know, you get a little tingling feeling when your legs go numb.
Right now, he's sleeping in his hotel room. Stay with us. The NFL Day Today will continue right after this.
Hunger in the United States is at a record level. The best estimates are that there's 30 million people that are hungry in this country. There are many, many infants and young children who suffer from malnutrition. There's just no excuse for that kind of tragedy. What Cherish Strength does is we get the resources to communities so that they can feed more people more effectively. It's going to take a lot to solve hunger in this country. We're grateful for American Express card members' support in helping to provide a meal every time they use the card.
Now till December 31st, use the American Express card to help feed millions of people.
The charge against hunger is a battle that we can win.
Aspen Cologne for men. Aspen, now.
Corning presents an exciting debut, Pink Plus, a new installation that's silky to the touch. The reason? Pink Plus is our famous pink fiberglass insulation wrapped in smooth pink poly, which also makes it extra easy to install. So get in touch with a premier insulation. For the Pink Plus dealer nearest you, call 1-800-GET-PINK.
There are times you can feel your body heat rising, higher and higher. Fortunately, there's Degree antiperspirant. It's body heat activated. Every time your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection to keep you cooler, drier.
You're up next.
Thank you. Good morning.
Nothing protects you like Degree. Your body heat turns it on.
All right, coming up, Cowboys against the Colts, invading Indianapolis for the first time ever. And the Giants against the Redskins. Terry, you beat up on Sims more than the Buffalo Bills did last week.
Yeah, Phil Sims is most concerned about the defensive fronts. The multiple fronts the Redskins will cause some problems early for pass protection for the Giants. So how well they handle the defensive line adjustments will be the key to the Giants today.
All right, the Bears against Philadelphia, where the Eagles have that home winning streak, 11 in a row at the vet they've won. What about the Bears' plans?
Look for David Wannstedt, head coach, to blitz a lot because of Victor Bailey, a young wide receiver, rookie receiver starting. He will have to make route adjustments, and blitzes sometimes can cause confusion.
And Tampa Bay against Minnesota, the Bucs having won their first game last week. For all of you, those games are next. Let's go watch the games and get some lunch. I'm catering this week, okay? Thanks for joining us, folks. It's game time on the NFL Today.